right, family. All right, welcome back to another edition of Metal Link News. We're gonna go ahead and get started. All right, let's go and start and look at the futures all down. Look at most of them down across the board, except for the Nasdaq futures. She's up. All right, by 7.75 points. All right, so we got a little bit of mixed bag. Show what's going on with the futures today. All right, let's go ahead and switch over to what's going on. To get a little bit of the European and Asian markets. Got the T225 is up. The FTSE 100 is up as well. All right, let's take a look at some cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is under 40,000. It's under 40,000 for the for this morning before trading opens at 9:30 a.m. East Coast time. All right, then you got CMC crypto is running down as well too. All right, so let's take a look at the 10-year bond. The 10-year bond is at 1.6830. All right, pay attention to that bond. All right, the VIX is running at 22.28. All right, and look at the currencies. GBP to the US dollar is up, and the US dollar to Japanese yen is running a little bit down as well. All right, so let's get in. That was from yahoofinance.com. All right, thanks for that, and thanks for that market updates from yahoofinance.com. All right, let's get into Kitco.com. Look at the the world spot price for precious metals. See, gold is up, slowly creeping toward the 1900. Silver is up, by 10 cents, 27.90. Platinum is up, palladium is up, and rhodium is at 27,000 asking. All right, 27,000 and asking. All right, look at that gold ratios, 67.47. We still hanging around the 67 mark for ounces of silver to gold, the palladium, platinum, all ratios. Right. So let's actually get into some news, and this is where we start out with the big one. All right, we get a blast from the past here, but this is still relevant to today because they haven't changed. No reserve requirements. The Federal Reserve will replace fractional reserve banking with no reserve banking. 0% interest rates. All right. Basically, what it says here, that banks are no longer required to have the amount of reserve cash to fill its quota for if depositors want to come take cash out. They no longer have to have the cash to actually back up what they supposed to have enough cash to for their depositors or savers in their bank in the branches to be able to take out. So what it means, in other words, what the Federal Reserve is basically taking out, and this took place last March, and it has not changed, which is why we're going back and updating it. All right, letting you know that this reserve requirement has not changed. All right, banks used to be at least have to have the same amount of cash in reserve as the as depositors had inside their banks. All right, now with that rule being changed, they no longer have to have the amount of cash reserves in their bank, all right, to for as much as they have deposited money in there, so they can actually take your money from you as well too. All right, so when the bank fails or when the bank system crashes and you go try to have a bank run, they start having bank runs and they tell you we don't have any money. All right, we don't have any reserve, we don't have enough cash to take out. All right, we're out of money, we're out of denomination bills. All right, so that means your money is essentially gone and it belongs to the bank. All right, so be mindful of that, people. If you have all your money inside the banks, if you this is we don't give financial advice here, but we just read off the headlines here. So since they no longer have to have reserve cash in the banks to cover all of their depositors of money, they can actually just go ahead and when the next bank run comes, they can just say go ahead and shut down. We don't have the cash to give you your money. All right, we don't have any money, we don't have anything whatsoever, and you just keep all your money. All right, and do what they want to do with it. All right, so be mindful of that one. That was the big news story that we want to get out of to you today. All right, and then look at let's take a look at here. This time we go focusing overseas. All right, to our friends in the so-called continent of South America. Inflation from yahoofinance.com. All right, let's go back and I forgot to give credit where credit is due. All right, this the first story we always get to give credit to this websites we get it from investmentwatchblog.com. All right, that was the first story that we got. That was from investmentwatchblog.com. All right, Federal Reserve no longer requires banks to hold cash reserves. All right, now that we got that out the way. All right, yahoofinance.com. Inflation is 50%, puts Argentina on the path that they failed before. All right, so they having a 50% inflation, kick right back in. Should see the precious metal prices for Argentina right now. they're having to do everything they can to try to get what's going on to get their country currency good to go. All right, and it's the read down here, the second paragraph. Argentina's new ban on exports of its famed beef won't quell runaway inflation if previous interventions are any guide. So they're having to curtail their ban exports from razors, condoms, beef, ketchup, whatever they make in their country. They're having to keep it from being exported. All right. It used to they're trying to hold on to all this stuff because their people are starving. All right, down there, people in this really situation has not gotten any worse. It's not gotten any better, and it's probably gotten much worse. So they've had to ban exports because they had to ship out everything to pay down their debt. All right, they've been like I said, they put a ban on almost everything now from getting out of the country because they've had to export everything from not just their oil, their their food products, like I said, they find beef, their condoms, their toilet paper, razors. If it ain't nailed down or they ain't hidden away in your basement, they've seized it in it. They've actually had to seize it from their people and actually export it to help cut down their trade deficits and their national debts. All right, we get into another article first before we move on. All right, with red meat prices up about 65% annually, easily outpacing the 46% inflation, the government of President Alberto Fernandez is suspending beef shipments by the world's fifth largest exporter for 30 days. All right. So in this, sorry about that. We had to switch out next story real easy. We want to finish with that one. All right, and that is having to take place in Argentina where they're having to sell almost everything. All right, and now they've sold so much to pay off their debt. They don't have any for their people, so they've had to go ahead and just ban exports of certain things to keep their people happy, keep the people from go ahead and going, okay, you got us into this mess, and now you're forcing us to starve to death before because of what you done while y'all sitting pretty and fat. All right. So this would, if you don't play, if you think this ain't coming to the U.S., be mindful of the U.S. trade deficit. All right, just be mindful of that. All right, and be safe out here. All right, so let's get into our next story here. We had to switch over a little bit earlier. There we go. All right, and here we go from. This is from CBS8.com. All right, CBS8.com. The median home prices in San Diego County is more than 825,000. All right. All right. The median price just 1 year ago was 671,000 in San Diego. All right. And you look at it now, home prices are skyrocketing as people are trying to get out of the cities. They're trying to get out of the major metropolitan areas. You got the housing market coming in. You got all the lumber shortages, and then they've caused housing prices to just skyrocket from a while back ago. All right, even the house, the house that I own, when me and my wife we purchased it, we bought it for 325,000, and look, we got a reappraisal, and it's well over 400,000 right now. All right, I wouldn't pay $400,000 for a house. I'll be honest with you like that. All right, but let's get back to the story here. The median existing price, single family detached home in San Diego County rose to $825,120 in April. All right, that's just about a month ago. You won't hear about the prices in May until about this time in June. About this time in June, just for the go getting close to the end of June, you start hearing housing prices for the actual May, the month of May. All right, switch go down a little bit. As California's median home prices was 813,980 in April, with the rise fueled by heated market conditions and a shortage of homes for sales, according to the California Association of Realtors. All right, this is not just what's going on in California. This is going around the country as a whole. All right, there's been a squeeze of people moving out of the cities trying to get to the suburbs and the rural areas, and it's caused home prices skyrocket, along with what I always said earlier about the lumber shortages. All right, there's not enough inventory of homes, which is causing bidding wars to go on. We reported on the story, something similar like this earlier, and go look at the archives for our late videos, and you'll see that bidding wars have started. All right, you're looking at upwards up to 76 bids for one home, and some of those large cash bids. And if you're a first time home buyer, get ready. because you're being outbid by people who have sometimes the actual liquid. They have the liquid cash to come straight in and outbid you. All right, so be mindful of that one. Okay, so we got this story that was from YahooFinance.com. All right. No, I'm sorry. That was from CBS8.com. All right. www.cbs8.com. Right. And then we get into our little final story here. Fed alert. Overnight reverse repo usage soars above COVID crisis highs. All right. All right. We get into this one here. All right. The FOMC minutes said there was a brief section that received little focus and amid the broad analysis of the Fed's tapering inflation language. All right. More important, when you hear about the overnight repos, all right, that's when the banks comes in and says they need some money. All right, they need some overnight money, overnighted to them so they can actually fill their quotas because they're running out of cash. So the Federal Reserve gives them money. They give them the liquidation, they give it to them, but then they're supposed to pay it back the next night. But what is happening is, since the past September, that trend has broken, and the banks keep coming back and back and back to the Federal Reserve every night, saying they need more cash. So the Federal Reserve gives them, they print the money out of thin air, give it to the banks, and the banks come back every night, over and over again, say they need money, they need money, they need money. This is due to their bad policies. They're betting on derivatives or anything else. We're gonna have later on down the line, coming soon. We're gonna have a little discussion on this channel about actually what is a derivative. You'd be surprised what their betting on derivatives is. All right, almost anything can be a derivative. All right, the overnight reverse repurchases agreement or repos facility continued effectively supporting policy implementation and take up peak at more than 100 billion. All right, so they're going almost at 100 billion every night. The banks are coming in asking for money from the Federal Reserve. All right, and this is constantly going on, going on, and going on. We reporting here about the repos, how they increase. We haven't reported for a time, but we're going to get back to that and reporting what's going on with these repos. All right. So that being said, as you can see, we have the banks no longer required to keep up with the cash reserves in their banks. We have inflation kicking in foreign countries. We got housing issues here in the states, and we got the Federal Reserve giving out 100 billion at night to the banks. All right. So that being said, we need you to be safe and be sound. Remember, become your own banker. Start getting yourself together, get your finances together, before you can help everybody else. All right. So with that being said, I want to thank you for joining us. Another edition of Melanie Glamour News. Become your own banker. Become your own savings and loans. Become your own credit union. You're your own best financier. Everything starts local. Get that barter started with your neighbors. Neighbors get your community together. Reach out to other communities. Everything starts at the local level. Thank you once again for joining us. Be safe, be sound, and let's go ahead and let's get it started.